Good morning. The Big Dig. Residents all along the East Coast trying to recover a day after another massive blizzard slams the region, shattering annual snowfall records in cities like D.C., Philadelphia, and Baltimore. And now more bad weather just might be on the way. Nuclear nation. Iran's president announces the rogue nation has enriched uranium and is now a nuclear state, as hundreds of thousands mass in the streets of Tehran. And will she or won't she? All eyes on American skiing sensation Lindsey Vonn battling that serious shin injury. Will she compete at these games? She'll get her first chance to practice on the slopes of Whistler Mountain today, Thursday, February 11th, 2010.
From NBC News, this is a special edition of Today, Countdown to Vancouver, with Matt Lauer and Meredith Vieira, live from Vancouver, Canada.
And welcome to Today in Vancouver on this Thursday morning. I'm Meredith Vieira.
And I'm Ann Curry, taking the day off, preparing to host tomorrow night's big Olympic opening ceremony. But back at home, it is no celebration, Meredith, as you just mentioned. Millions of residents are trying to recover from this huge storm.
Yeah, the blizzard is actually gone, but it is certainly not forgotten. Some places got more than 2 feet of snow, and blowing winds today could make it difficult to clear it all away. Take a look at this. Washington, D.C. got nearly a foot of snow. That's on top of the 2 feet already on the ground there. The federal government in the nation's capital remains closed for a 4th straight day. And this is New York City's Central Park, a very pretty scene this morning. Big Apple got about 10 inches of snow yesterday, shutting down the schools citywide and snarling the airports, which had a ripple effect nationwide. Now, could more bad weather be on the way next week? We're going to get Al's forecast in a moment. I have a feeling it's not going to be good.
Yeah, I know, that's true. But we have also a lot of news here from Vancouver, and we're going to reveal, in fact, this year's flag bearer for Team USA. And let's just say this person was part of one of the most classic Today Show segments ever. Another tip, it involves spandex. Plus, Meredith goes on a tour of the athletes' village here, and it's your chance to see how the world's best athletes live and play.
But let us begin with winter's big 1-2 punch. NBC's Tom Costello is in Washington, D.C. Tom, good morning to you. You made it.
Oh, yeah, we made it. Good morning to you. Road crews struggling today to clear all of the snow. We have dozens of reports of collapsed roofs, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people without power. Washington, D.C., with 55 inches of snow in total this season, has now broken the all-time record for snow in one season. Philly and Baltimore, same story, more than 70 inches up there. And digging out from all of this is going to take a very long time. They called it snowpocalypse for a reason. From Virginia through the mid-Atlantic, up the East Coast and into New York, a ferocious winter storm, and a record breaker along the way. For hours Wednesday, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia were blasted with one of the biggest winter storms in the region's history.
I'm kind of used to snow, but not this fast and not this quick. There's a lot of snow.
Washington's historic landmarks disappeared into a sea of white. Mid-blizzard, the D.C. police chief went on TV urging area residents to stay inside.
The roads are treacherous, really. It's not even just the road conditions. It is the blowing, driving snow. Even
before this latest storm, roads, highways, and bridges were crusted and glazed over with layers of ice from the weekend storm. Now, the National Guard has brought out heavy equipment just to help emergency personnel get to work. In Maryland, which got hammered with 30 inches of snow last weekend, another 10 to 20 inches have piled up.
Right now, what we're most concerned about are roof collapses, power outages, public safety, vulnerable citizens, senior citizens, and making sure that we save lives, protect lives.
Today, area airports are hoping to dig out and reopen after being closed and deserted Wednesday, while state and federal government offices remain closed. Digging out won't be easy. The snow has been piling up since Friday night. Trees are down, cars. You won't believe this. They are now talking about even more snow headed our way next week. And to reiterate the point that the governor of Maryland was making, the authorities are urging people to check on your neighbors, especially the elderly, the at-risk populations, the disabled. Do they have food? Do they have electricity? Do they have power? Do they have their prescriptions? There's no way people can get through this stuff. Back to you.
All right, Tom Costello this morning. Tom, thanks. Dennis Rubin is the Washington, D.C. Fire Chief. Chief Rubin, good morning.
Good morning.
You've got 40 inches of snow, Chief, in some places. And while the storm appears over, you've got blizzard conditions with blowing snow. What is your biggest challenge today?
Certainly being able to get around to respond to emergency alarms in a timely fashion has been one of our #1 concerns. We've added additional personnel. We're operating with 4-wheel drive vehicles and have been supported by the D.C. National Guard with Humvee units to make certain that we could get it.
Ms. Ann, thank you so much for taking time out for us, and good luck to you today.
Thanks, Ann.
And now let's see what the forecast holds from Al, who is back in New York. Good morning, Al.
That's right. And before we even get to the forecast, Meredith, we still have some more of the things that we have to deal with. For example, travel. It is still a mess. In fact, the airlines have canceled at least 1,300 flights today. They're not expecting airline service to get back to normal till sometime late tonight, early tomorrow. Amtrak has scaled back its service to basically weekend service. Now, as far as schools are concerned, we are talking about Baltimore and Philadelphia. Their schools still closed. Washington, D.C. schools still closed. New York City and Boston, they're open, but individual school systems within those areas may be closed or at least have 2 to 3 hour delays. And get this statistic. We don't even think about the cost of clearing all this snow. New York City had 1,600 plows, 4,200 workers. They estimate, the mayor of New York estimates that for every inch of snow that falls, it costs $1 million to clean it up. So it is a very expensive proposition. Snowfall amounts: D.C. 10.5 inches, Baltimore almost 20, Philadelphia 14, Westfield, New Jersey 17. We got 10 inches of snow in New York City. Seasonal snowfall records have been broken in Philadelphia with over 70 inches, almost 80 in Baltimore, almost 56 inches of snow in Washington, D.C. The good news is that storm is moving away. The bad news for our friends in the South, it's their turn under the gun. This storm system bringing snow to Dallas and Shreveport, Louisiana. We'll have the details on that in just a moment. And as we mentioned, there may be another storm coming for the Mid-Atlantic early on Monday. Meredith, Ann?
No, Al, okay, thank you very much. We're going to get the rest of your forecast in just a few minutes. At least, as Al said, the kids are happy, and that guy who loaded up on toilet paper and beer probably set for the next 2 weeks if he remembers them.
You don't want to not have enough of that.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's get a check of the rest of the morning's top stories from Hoda Kotb, who's in for me actually at the news desk in New York. Hey, Hoda, good morning to you.
Hey, Ann. Hey, Meredith. Good morning, everybody. Today, a massive rally and a defiant announcement from Iran, which says it is now a nuclear state. NBC's chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel joins us now with more. Hello, Richard.
Good morning, Hoda. President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said Iran has already produced some higher-grade uranium, but it's still not concentrated enough to make a nuclear weapon. Ahmadinejad was speaking to several 100,000 pro-government supporters gathered for state-sponsored celebrations in Tehran to mark the anniversary of the 1979 Islamic Revolution. The government had...
New released photos show the World Trade Center attack from a unique perspective. They were taken from a police helicopter by the only photographer allowed inside the restricted airspace after the first tower was hit. Actor Alec Baldwin was taken by ambulance to a New York City hospital overnight, according to WNBC, after a relative called 911 voicing concern over his health, saying he was not responding. The 30 Rock star was examined for more than an hour, and then he was released. A videotape that reportedly shows former presidential candidate John Edwards having sex with his mistress was turned over to a North Carolina judge on Wednesday. The tape and copy were surrendered by an attorney for former Edwards aide, Andrew Young. And from South America, dramatic video of a hero in action. Drivers were ignoring the lowered safety barrier at a train crossing in Argentina when a van got stuck on the tracks. A motorcycle passenger shoved it out of harm's way, barely making it across the tracks, and he escaped the oncoming train. I can't believe this guy pushed that, but he did it. It is now 12 minutes past the hour. Let's go back over to Meredith and Ann.
Thank goodness he made it out alive. Hoda, thank you very much. Now we're going to go back to Al for the rest of the weather forecast. Hey, Al.
Hey, guys, I'm just curious. Meredith's not wearing a coat. Ann's wearing a coat. Is it that much warmer where Meredith is?
Well, I've got sort of like a...
I'm cold in this coat.
And I have like a sweater dress on, Al. But thanks for noticing our wardrobe.
When you wear a sweater dress, Al, you'll know how that feels.
Actually, I am. Anyway, let's take a look, see what's happening. As we mentioned, down in the Gulf, got this low pressure system. It's got winter storm warnings, winter storm watches from mid Midland all the way to Montgomery, Alabama. On the radar, you can see the system now. Low pressure getting itself together. The path of the storm brings it across the Gulf during the day today on into tomorrow morning. And as it does, it's going to spread snow to the north, heavy rain to the south, all the way into Florida. That's your latest weather. Ann?
Hey, Al, are we going to see you tomorrow, by the way?
You will, but I'll probably be here. You'll still see me, though.
Oh, well, come as soon as you can, Al. Thanks so much. In Haiti, it appears to be a miracle come true. Doctors now say they're convinced a man pulled from the rubble 27 days after that quake really was trapped the whole time. That is nearly twice the known record for a buried earthquake victim to be discovered alive. We've got NBC's Mike Taibbi in Port-au-Prince this morning with more on this story. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Ann. I spent 2 hours speaking with 28-year-old Evans Monsignac and then spoke with the doctors and nurses who spent the better part of 2 days with him. They were all skeptical in the beginning, but no longer. It's smiles and thumbs up now, sitting with his mother and 2 of his caregivers, but that wasn't the story at the University of Miami's Medi-Share Field Hospital Monday night.
He just got here maybe an hour ago.
A badly emaciated man.
Weather conditions might be a factor for that downhill practice later on today, which could determine whether or not Lindsey Vonn chooses to even chance it. Meantime, overnight, Team USA had a big announcement. Mark Grimmett, the luger, will be the flag bearer at tomorrow night's opening ceremony. It is his 5th Olympics, and he is only the 4th American to have that honor, Meredith.
Natalie, thank you. And he's standing right here with us, right there in the camera. We're going to talk to him in the next half hour. And let's just say that he is someone who is very special to us, Matt and Al in particular. Anyway, the preparations for these games have been years in the making. So with 1 day to go, is Vancouver really ready to let the games begin? John Furlong is the CEO of the Vancouver Organizing Committee, or VANOC as the locals call it. John, good morning to you. Good morning. 7 years in the making, 1 day to go. The buck stops at your desk. Are you ready?
Yes, I think we are. There's a great sort of sense of positive anxiety in the city, and we've worked hard for a long time. And we've been working on this project for the better part of 14 years, and so tomorrow's a huge day for us. Where the city's very excited, it's smiling and happy, and yeah, it's going to be quite the adventure for us.
The one thing you can't control is Mother Nature, and she hasn't been that cooperative. Things are great at Whistler, where the Alpine events will take place, but over at Cypress, you had to truck in snow. There was so little snow. That's where the snowboarders are. They've been out practicing the past few days. What are they telling you about conditions now at Cypress?
Well, I think they're happy because we've sort of, we are trying to get Mother Nature under control. It's not easy. She's fighting hard, but I think the athletes have been up there and they can see the effort we've made, and the venues the venue will be great for them, and the pictures will be great from up there, and we're very excited. That was our #1 focus for the last month. We had the warmest January since recorded history, but
you must have been sweating bullets then.
Well, we knew what we had to do, and it was just getting the work done and just getting in front of it. We were so far back as the weather just went south on us, but we're feeling good now. Our team has literally not come off that mountain for the better part of a month, and they've done a great job. I mean, the amount of snow that's been moved and the grooming that's taken place, I mean, they've really done a marvelous job. I'm very proud of them.
When you first were awarded the Olympics 7 years ago, the estimated cost was $600 million. It has ballooned to $6 billion. I'm hearing estimates now of up to $11 billion before it's done. How did the cost get so out of hand?
Well, I think the numbers are, most of those numbers are nonsense. Basically, our project is the same project, but what's happened in the city, which happens in many countries in the world, is many projects that may or may not have taken place in the city the games have sort of been a catalyst. The road to Whistler got moved up a year. It was being planned. This convention center beside us here has been planned for many, many years, and the games just gave it a bit of a nudge. We have a new train line, but the games budget of $580 million to build the venues, we built it for that, and we have a great Olympic theater. The budget to run the games is $1.75 billion. We're going to run the games for that budget. These other projects are really legacies that the country decided to invest in to just leave the country a little better off when the games are over.
Before I let you go, the best kept secret right now in Vancouver, who is going to light the Olympic cauldron? Can you give us a hint?
You're not getting anything out of me.
Nothing?
No, it's not yours, not me. That's all I can tell you.
That's not Lauer, is it?
No.
That would kill me. All right, John, thank you very much. Nice to see you. Congratulations.
Enjoy your time here.
Thank you very much. And coming up, how painful it would be for American skiing superstar Lindsey Vonn to go downhill with that shin injury. We're going to talk to Lindsey's good friend, Olympic gold medalist Peekaboo Street. But first, this is Today on NBC.
The pressure.